All right, so today we are going to be talking about the setup of a courtroom, who is in that courtroom, and what those people in the courtroom do during a criminal case involving serious felonies. All right, so the first person we're going to talk about today sits right here with his gavel, and that is the judge. Now, what does the judge do in a courtroom? He is the one who proceeds over the court proceedings and makes sure that the trial is conducted impartially. All right. After the judge, you have your court clerk who sits over here. All right. Now, what does the court clerk do? He is an elected official in charge of receiving, processing, maintaining, and safely storing the complete record of all documents filed in a court case. Right, the next individual we are going to talk about is the bailiff. Now, the bailiff doesn't really have an assigned area. I mean, he could be standing here in front of the judge, over by the jury box. It doesn't really matter. He kind of floats. He assists and protects the judge and jury throughout court proceedings. He declares the entry of the judge and calls witnesses into the courtroom. And he also accompanies jurors outside of the courtroom to prevent contact with the public and provides security if the jury needs it. All right, so the next person we're going to talk about sits at the table on the left here, always on the left, and that is your attorney. Now, what does an attorney do? The attorney represents the plaintiff, which we'll get into in a moment. They fight for the plaintiff's rights, and they try to convince the jury that the defendant has committed the crime beyond reasonable doubt. So now that we know the attorney sits here on the left, let's talk about who sits here on the right. This would be the defense attorney. Now, what does the defense attorney do? They will research the facts and investigate the case that has been brought against their clients. They will also try to negotiate deals with the attorney, as well as they will try to convince the jury that the defendant did not commit the crime they are being accused of. So, the next person we have coming into the courtroom is going to be sitting here with the attorney. This is the plaintiff. Now, what is a plaintiff? The plaintiff is the person who has initiated the lawsuit and is seeking legal remedy. They may sometimes even testify in court. So now who sits over here on the right with the defense attorney? This would be the defendant. Now, what does the defendant do? Well, they are the person being accused of committing a crime, and sometimes they may have to testify in court. Next up, we have a witness. Now, what is a witness? A witness is a person who saw or heard the crime being committed, or maybe even a person who might have some important information regarding the case. Okay, so next up we have our jury. Now, in a criminal case involving a serious felony, you will have 12 jurors. But as you can see here, I only have 11. And that is because I'm missing one of the most important people in the courtroom, which is the foreperson. Now, I went ahead and put a little exclamation point on the foreperson's head so you knew he was important. What he does is he speaks for the jury as an entirety, not his own opinion, what the jury has decided on. He can ask judges for evidence. He can ask for tapes to be replayed, many different things. But now, what does the jury as a whole do? They listen to the evidence during a trial, and they decide what facts the evidence has established, and they draw inferences from those facts to form the basis for their decision of guilty or not guilty. And that is that. This is the final layout of our courtroom during a criminal case that involves a serious felony. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm here to answer anything you may need. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.